Have you ever heard of the Great Emu War? No, seriously. It's a real thing that happened in Australia in 1932, and it's one of the most bizarre and honestly hilarious episodes in military history. It's the story of how the Australian Army, armed with machine guns, declared war on a population of large, flightless birds, and lost. So set the scene. It's 1932, Western Australia. The Great Depression is hitting hard, and on top of that, a massive migration is underway. But we're not talking about people. We're talking about an estimated 20,000 emus. These giant birds, driven by drought from the interior, discovered a paradise, the freshly cultivated farmlands of the Campion district. For them, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet of wheat. For the farmers who were already struggling World War I veterans, it was an absolute catastrophe. The emus were trampling fences, devouring crops, and basically laughing in the face of all their hard work. The farmers were desperate. They sent a delegation to the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pierce. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The farmers, being ex-soldiers, had an idea. They said, hey, these birds are tough. Can we use machine guns on them? And the minister, perhaps seeing a chance for some good PR and some live fire training, actually agreed. He thought, how hard can it be? So, the Royal Australian Artillery, under the command of Major G.P.W. Meredith, was deployed. They arrived with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The media caught wind of it, and a cinematographer even came along to film the glorious victory of man over bird. The war was officially on. Their first engagement was, well, a complete failure. They spotted a flock of about 50 emus. The soldiers set up their machine gun, took aim, and the gun jammed after only a few rounds. The emus, startled but largely unharmed, scattered in every direction, running off with that goofy, surprisingly fast emu run. The first battle resulted in maybe a dozen casualties for the emus, at the cost of hundreds of bullets. Major Meredith was stunned. He noted in his report that the emus seemed to have a military strategy of their own. He said, if we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. Each flock, he observed, had a leader, a big, black-plumed bird that would stand watch while the others ate. At the first sign of trouble, it would give a call and the whole group would just vanish. They weren't just dumb birds, they were tactical geniuses. The army tried again. They planned an ambush near a dam, hoping to catch over 1,000 emus in a tight spot. This time, the gunners opened fire at point-blank range. You'd think this would be a massacre, right? Wrong. The emus panicked and split into tiny groups, running in every direction so erratically that the gunners couldn't track them. The official report is almost comical. After using nearly 2,500 rounds of ammunition, the official body count was uncertain. Maybe 100 birds, maybe less. The rest just ran away. After about a week of this humiliating campaign, the media started having a field day. The headlines were brutal. A conservationist in Parliament sarcastically asked if a medal would be awarded to the gunners. Public opinion turned against the war. It was becoming a national embarrassment. Less than a week after it started, the Minister of Defense ordered a withdrawal. The emus had won. Major Meredith and his men packed up their Lewis guns and went home defeated. The farmers, of course, still had an emu problem. So a few weeks later, the military was sent back in for a second attempt. This time they had a little more success, claiming to have killed almost 1,000 emus. But even then it was incredibly inefficient. They used nearly 10,000 rounds of ammunition to do it. That's 10 bullets for every confirmed kill. The military finally gave up for good in December. The cost of ammunition was far greater than the value of the crops they were saving. In the end, the government found a much more effective solution. They offered a bounty system and built stronger emu-proof fences. It turns out, good fences make good neighbors, even when your neighbors are 6-foot-tall, seemingly bulletproof birds. So the next time you think a task is going to be easy, remember the Great Emu War. Remember the Australian Army, outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a bunch of birds. It's a hilarious, humbling reminder from history that sometimes the simplest-looking problems are the ones that will run you in circles, and that nature, well, nature always finds a way. Do you know any crazy historical facts? Drop them in the comments, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.